Okay.
Good to go. I had an intro typed out, but I can't seem to find it.
You can just wing it.
Oh yeah, here we go. Let's start on a somewhat of a high note. Welcome to Demasked. My name is Frezzman, and today I'm joined by Art the Clown, also known as David Thornton.
Hey, how you doing?
So I've got a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
One's a fairly obvious one because I think we both know what we're here to talk about today. Invisibles: The Lost Kingdom. I went digging and I can't. Can you tell me what that game's about? Because I can't find anything.
It's kind of like a PlayStation's version of Pokemon in a way, I guess you could say. Where like they battle monsters and they kind of collect the monsters and the guy can kind of morph into those monsters and use their powers and stuff like that.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Well, I tried to do the good old fashioned Wikipedia search and all that, and it just came up with nothing.
Yeah, it was a lesser known game, I guess. It came out about what year was that? 2013? Yeah, 2013.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Wow, that was a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. Wow, time goes by fast.
Oh, have you heard of Captain Disillusion?
Captain Dissolution. That sounds very familiar.
He does debunking videos for video effects hoaxes and all those.
Yeah.
And I was looking over some of the stuff, and one of his videos said, "Oh, it's 9 years ago." I'm like, man, that would be like, what, 2001? I'm like, oh god, it's 2019.
Yeah, it's just like, oh no, what the hell?
What happened? How did I get
where
here?
Where did the time go?
So, but I actually do have some questions referring to Terrifier, which is fantastic, by the way. So my expectations were pretty low for that film because I don't think it was referred to me very well.
How dare that person?
Exactly. Well, they're like,
what do they know?
They're like, oh, it's like a scary clown film. I'm like, oh, it's one of those. It's gonna be like that, and then like that whole diner scene where you're actually acting like a clown, and that's more off-putting than just pulling out a knife.
Yeah, I think that's because that's like such a real situation for so many people, especially those that like live in bigger cities like New York and stuff like that, where you have, especially as women, you have weirdos that do that kind of crazy stuff to them in like real life.
Oh,
where they'll just sit there and stare and just be weird like that.
Have you ever been to Portland, Oregon?
Portland, yeah. I was there. My cousin lives out there, so I was out there a few years ago for her wedding.
I live here myself, and it's sometimes it can be a nightmare.
Oh yeah. Have you ever heard of the band? They broke up recently, but it was the band called Thanks.
I think I've heard of them, but I don't think I've heard any of their music.
Yeah, that was the band my cousin was in, so she was the lead singer for that. So they actually did some music for our film too, so I thought that was kind of cool.
I'll have to write that down.
Yeah.
Just put that in the notes here, thanks.
Yeah.
And probably in parentheses, band, because I'm probably
yeah.
Why am I congratulating myself?
Exactly. Yeah, they broke up about 2 years ago, I think. They all like started getting married and going off and doing their own lives and stuff like that. So it was unfortunate because they were really good, really good. They had like especially my cousin, she had a very Amy Winehouse type of sound.
Oh, that actually, okay, yeah, then that might be more my speed.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say like thrash metal or something.
No. it was very Portland-like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, quick question. I did some digging, and so how Art the Clown isn't Terrifier's not the first movie that Art the Clown has appeared in.
Correct.
He's appeared in The Ninth Circle and All Hallows Eve, if I remember.
Yes.
And I checked, and the actor who previously played Art was Mike Gianelli. Have you met him?
Not yet. No, we've chatted a few times online and stuff like that, but we've never met officially, which is kind of weird because like we live in the same city, but and like he's like one of Damien's best friends too. So I'm like, how have we not met yet? It's so weird because it like we've chatted online. He's a really sweet guy, and so I was like, I was so afraid there was going to be some kind of weird animosity or something like that because I know that happens with some other people, you know, that take over the roles. Clown? Yeah, like yeah, exactly. It's like have fun. I'm like thanks man. Phew. Cause I was talking to like my friend Damien Maffei from he's in The Strangers 2. He plays the man in the mask, and he's not the original one either.
Really?
He said like he and the original guy have not gotten along well. I think the original guy was really pissed off that he was recast or something like that. So it's like man. there's animosity there, and I'm like, man, I have none of that with Mike. I'm glad. I want to like figure out a way where we can actually put Mike into one of the future films or something like that too, just as like a fun cameo or something at least.
Just either have him physically or have the painting from All Hallows Eve.
Yeah, something like that. Something just like nice little nudge, wink, wink type thing.
Mm-hmm. If you were, I've asked this of a couple people, but if you were to put Art the Clown into a different horror movie franchise, or even a different movie franchise altogether, what would that be?
He would be great in a rom-com.
Oh, God. I had the thought of, like, that would be a really dark Avengers sequel.
God, yeah, that would work too, I was just imagining him as like something like Love Actually or something like that. Just shows up on the porch with a bunch of signs. The last one's circus, and he pulls out a knife and just stabs a person.
To me, your perfect stab.
Yep, exactly. You're perfect aware stab.
So there was I gotta say that I'm not a big fan of scary movies that have jump scares in them.
Yeah.
Just to me, it really doesn't do anything. It's a loud sound and something jumps at the camera.
Oh, exactly. Like a cat jumps out or a car goes by honking his horn really loud. It's so cheap. It's such a cheap way to try to get a scare.
Mm-hmm. Especially those ones. There's a lot of them recently where like somebody will bump into another regular person, but you hear like a weird demon screech sound.
Yeah. Or like some weird musical cue where it's just like boom boom, and it's like it's just it's like, oh hey Stu.
Oh look. But I gotta say, a Terrifier might have the one jump scare that's ever actually like got me. It's when you're in the foyer chasing down I believe what's her name? Tamara, the character's name?
Tara, yeah.
Tara, okay. I'll have to I'm going to pull up the IMDb so I have it on hand. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier.
Oh, it's okay. It took me forever to get all the names right in my head. I'm like, you're playing who again? Dawn, okay. Because I remember Dawn is the blonde because, the crack of dawn.
Oh, yeah. But I love how there's no musical cue to that, and it takes so long for anything to happen.
Yeah.
And it almost looks like it looks like Art didn't even know that she went into the building. Like, like he walked in and he's like surprised, like, oh, you're here too.
It's like, hi.
And then just like not even reaching for the camera, but reaching off frame towards Tara, and then there's that little like bass drop of you chasing after her is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I think he knew she was in there because he first got in the car with Dawn. Because he saw the car out there, so he knew she was in there. He's just fucking around with her.
Well, I mean, that's what most of the movie is, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. He loves to fuck around with people. That's the best thing about him. It's just like he's so evil that way. He just he just takes great pride and pleasure out of just messing with people mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kills them.
what I think what sells is it's not that there's not a lot of work put into it, but like it's such a thing that I believe isn't represented well in current horror movies, where it's not that hard to mess with somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Like even to go as far as if you were in a coffee shop and you just started staring at somebody, they would just slowly drop into a panic attack.
Yep. Oh, I used to, when I was a camp counselor, I would, like, when I was riding the bus to camp every morning with the kids, if I had a kid misbehaving and they just would not stop misbehaving, I just sit there and stare at them. I would use, like, my Joker face, and I would just stare at them with my Joker smile, not blinking. I made some kids cry that way. It always worked. And always, because at first they were like, haha, okay, yeah, that's really funny. Okay, funny. Okay, man, stop, yeah. I was like,
hey, man, please look away.
It's a great tool. It's so effective.
So how did you get the role of Art?
Oh, well, I auditioned for it. I came across like a casting notice for it on a website, and they were looking for a tall, skinny guy that had clowning or physical comedy experience.
Must be partial to clown makeup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that was probably something in there, like, must be okay with, a lot of makeup and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, sure. Because I'd already seen All Hallows Eve, so I knew the character too. So I was like, yeah, definitely. So I contacted my reps and said, please submit me. I know I can knock this one out of the park.
Fantastic. I mean, did you just walk in and they're like, oh, you got it? Or did you supply your own clown makeup is what I'm really asking.
No, I actually didn't go in there with any makeup on. I actually didn't have a script or anything, and I had to improvise a scene off the top of my head for them. They're like, okay, so just come up with a scene where you decapitate a guy and go. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I mean, that's a pretty good lead-in right there, actually.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. And I think I posted the video a few weeks ago on online. Damien released it, so you can probably find it on like Dread Central what I did. It's this crazy routine. That's what came out of my head, all just right off the top of my head, where I just decapitate a guy, and I'm like, this is. It's like, wow, that was in me this whole entire time. Oh no.
Oh no, I know how to do that.
Yeah, it's like, I should go to a therapist.
I did it. Oh, I did it.
Oh no. Just go in the shower later on, just sit there in a ball and cry for a little while.
Just do the was it the James from Silent Hill 2, just staring into the mirror, just what am I?
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, totally.
So with this, like, honest kind of change in tone as far as a more modern horror movie has come around with you in it, what do you believe should change about modern horror movies as they stand now?
Well, I want horror films to get back to the basics again, get back to why people went to horror films in the first place, and it's to have fun. And I think a lot of horror films, especially in the slasher genre, have forgotten how to have fun and take risks with the genre. They're really holding back a lot recently, where they're sacrificing like all the fun stuff in the film for a PG-13 rating because they're more concerned about getting butts in the seats instead of actually giving the fans what they go to those type of movies to see. Mm-hmm. They go in for the blood and the guts. They go in there for the fun plot, not fun plots, but I would say just the fun film itself, just like the thrill of the chase. They go in there for the boobs, even,
like most of the Friday the 13th films.
Yeah, it's just like, someone takes off the top, they're getting killed.
oh, look, it's the Doublemint twins.
Yeah, exactly. You're dead. It's just that kind of stuff. It's like that's what we wanted to bring back to with our film. It's like, we weren't going in there with a really heavy plot, like trying to like just be extremely smart and clever movie. Like, oh, look how smart we are. It's the wind that's killing everybody. It's the plants releasing stuff into the wind or something like that. It's like, no, we were trying to just tell a basic cat and mouse serial killer story, and just gave it all with the blood and the guts, and put some humor in there, and put some boobs in there even too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you could always argue that, especially for when it comes to horror movies, less does definitely equal more in that aspect.
Yeah. Plus, I also think they've gotten away from having a really good charismatic villain. Like, so many of the villains I've seen in horror films in the past decade or so have just been so bland.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just, they try to capture the same lightning in the bottle they did with, like, Halloween and the Jason movies, where they had, like, just a silent killer walking around with a mask. But the thing is, with Michael and Jason, they still had a personality, in a way. Like, what they do now is, like, they're trying to imitate that, but they don't bring something interesting to it as well.
They just want to really copy it, but not really add anything.
Exactly. It's like the when I saw Hellfest recently, I was like, it was a fun idea on paper, but it wasn't executed well. And part of it was just the villain. It was just a guy walking around in a mask humming to himself. Pop goes the weasel, and I was just like, I want some more personality with him, at least, not just this very monotonish pop goes the weasel humming. I'm like, you could still have some personality in there with it or something. It's just like, have fun with it, man.
Well, have you seen the movie Hush?
Yes.
That
was good.
I like that completely pushed my expectations.
Yeah. That was a movie I enjoyed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun, and it was so simple in its premise too. That's what I liked about it too.
Yeah, but they played so much with concepts that they set up early on, like the whole like FaceTiming through your computer, but it's showing like the back of her head as he's standing in the kitchen.
Yeah. That was good. I really enjoyed Hush.
Well,
I want more of that kind of stuff.
Well, I was completely blown away that, like, they removed the mask like 10 minutes after he showed up.
Yeah.
Where he's trying to threaten her, but she can't hear him. It's
just like, son of a... I had to pick the deaf woman? Come on.
Of all the people in this forest neighborhood.
Exactly.
So what would your ideal horror movie look like?
Oh boy, I would say whatever we're planning on doing for Terrifier 2.
So there is going to be a Terrifier 2?
Yes. Damien's almost done writing it. He's actually having to cut down the script because he says he's written too much already. I'm like, oh wow, cool.
So is this going to be a theatrical release, or are we going to be waiting for Netflix?
Well, we're weighing our options on that right now. We're like, he's waiting to like first get the script finalized, and we're going to start shopping it around and see what our options are there with like studios and stuff like that. See how we're going to release it. I mean, Netflix is always an option, but I mean, we would really love to just, put it in theaters as well. Or
just, a duct taped VHS on everybody's front porch.
Oh yeah, that too.
just a musty cardboard box.
Yeah, kind of do the like Jehovah's Witness thing, but different. Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, Art the Clown?
Just carry around the painting from All Hallows Eve with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you seen this clown? You're about to.
Oh man, that would be kind of funny.
You're familiar with Masky the Clown, right?
Who?
He's on Twitter. You and I talk to him once in a while.
Oh yeah.
He I relayed this story to him recently because because of the whole clown thing, I'm actually related to a professional clown, and that's like that's the more interesting thing about my family, and also one of the more terrifying ones, because she has this photo in her house that's roughly like 5 inches by 5 inch squared.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a plaque that's by her front door, and it's a photo that I've asked every member of my family, and they will not explain it to me.
Yeah.
And it's a picture of her in all clown getup doing like jazz hands. And there's a little golden plaque under it that just says the word perfect.
Okay.
And like, I saw that photo when I was like 13, and I'm like, what does that even mean? And nobody gave me a straight answer.
It's like, you don't want to know. You don't want to know what she does with balloons.
Well, I'm just like, hey, Dad, what's this picture about? And he's just like, hey, let's go have dinner. Like, what?
Yeah, it's like some things are just better left not talked about. You know, it's just like, yeah, that was a dark period of her life.
At every family reunion, there's no clowns in this family.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Like, speaking of professional clowns and stuff like that, I remember there was a list someone released on like Dorkly or something like that a year ago or something like that, and it was about this scary, like why clowns are scary or something like that, and they listed all these scary clowns, and I think Art was listed in there as well. But this like professional clown chimed in at the end of it in the comment section and was just going off about how this is destroying the lives of professional clowns and how dare us scary clowns do this. And I was just like, it was the funniest response though. It was like paragraphs of just like, dude, man, calm down.
I can't believe you would show clowns in this light.
Yeah. It's like, we try to bring joy to people, and kids love us. I'm like, yeah, kids love me too.
Just a different kind of kid.
Reasons. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, to a degree, do you think clowns, at least the idea of the scary clown, do you think that was brought on by like early iterations of clowns? Because I've gone back and looked at like Bozo the Clown, and there are things where it's just something about it is very off-putting.
Oh god, I mean, have you seen the picture of Willard Scott when he was Ronald McDonald?
And Googling.
Yeah, you need to look at this picture. It is horrifying. It's just like, oh wow, I think he was like one. I think he was the original not Art the Clown, but Ronald McDonald. It's just like, oh wow,
sweet Jesus.
Yeah, isn't that scary?
Is that Why is there a box on his head?
I don't know. I think that's what they were trying to go for. It's like, hey, let's see, he sells hamburgers, so let's put a hamburger box on his head.
I mean, it doesn't help that oh shucks, what's his name? He was a clown, but he was also a serial killer.
Oh, Ed Gein.
Yeah.
Not Ed Gein, Gacy.
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy, yeah.
I was saying, I don't think that helped the image really any.
Oh, no. Well, the fun thing was he wasn't killing people as the clown. He was a clown.
But then he also...
Then his alternate life was... So it's like, oh, so that wasn't the scary part of him. Really? Okay, wow.
Well, I was watching a thing by Rob Dyke recently where he threw in this little anecdote where he said, like, by all accounts, he was a pretty good birthday clown.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. I'm like, oh, that's disturbing.
Oh, great.
He killed him every time.
He really knocked down that.
You really knocked him dead. His axe slayed. Oh boy!
See, those are the best kind of jokes where it just hurts when you hear it.
I have such dad humor. It's sad. I love really bad puns. They're so much fun for me.
I try to, but I never get the timing down.
Yeah, that's the one secret of comedy. It's all in the timing.
It's all in the disconnect call, reconnect call timing.
Yeah, timing. Comedy.
I've there's this idea I've been toying with for a long time where I want to if I ever have kids someday, I want to do something that's going to mess with them for about 30 years.
Oh God, yes.
Where I want to get like a big like one of those tall like gun safes with the huge like wheel in the middle.
Uh-huh.
And I want to put a note in that safe, in every like year at same day every year I open the safe, I take out what's in the envelope, I look at it, and I make sure they don't see it, and I put it back in the envelope. Then, like 30, 40, 50 years down the road when I'm old and gray, and they're like, and I'm on my deathbed, and I'm going to go, all right, here's the combination. And they're gonna go back to that old house, and they're going to open it, and they're going to open the letter, it just says, fuck you, from Dad. But just keep it running, make sure nobody, like, even if somebody talks about the safe, I'm like, don't you ever open that safe.
Yeah. That's fantastic. I love that kind oh my God. Like, I come from a family of pranksters and stuff like that, so that doesn't surprise me. It's like, the things I think that, like, my mom did to me as a child, the things I believed, like, because if she didn't want me to do something that was just annoying her or something like that, she would just make up some story and to scare the crap out of me, and I wouldn't do it. Like, when I was like, like kids do when they pick their nose and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. She's like, your boogers are worm eggs.
Oh.
And if you eat those, they're going to go in your stomach and they're going to hatch, and you're going to have worms in your stomach, and then you're going to have to get your stomach pumped. You don't want to have your stomach pumped, do you? I'm like, no.
That's such a vivid image.
Yeah, I told them. I believed it. I'd see other kids doing that on the playground. No, you're gonna get worms.
There's this that reminds me of this local radio show. This station here called The Buzz had a talk show called Daria, Mitch, and Ted, and Mitch had this irrational fear of belly buttons.
Oh God!
But like, when I first heard him say it, I'm like, it doesn't click with me. What could possibly be terrifying about a belly button?
Yeah.
And he's just in one sentence completely turned that around, and he goes, I believe if I like poke at my belly button, my hand will just keep going, like in, like there's no separation between like the inside and the out. And
right now everybody is poking their belly button like I am.
Yeah.
Right this moment, I'm just like,
like I just like put my hand on my stomach, just like, I don't want to try.
Yeah.
What if he's right? What if he's absolutely right?
Yeah. You just like implode. You're just like.
It's not actually going somewhere. It's just caving in on itself.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that's the crazy stuff that your brain makes you believe. I remember there was a while when I was a kid, I wouldn't go in the swimming pool because I was afraid of being sucked down the drain.
Oh yeah, but then you hear about people getting their arms cut in the drain or something.
Yeah.
Certainly doesn't
it was
help.
like the drain in the bottom of the pool with the little holes. I thought I was going to get sucked down one of those little holes. It's like, oh God, no.
Even though I'm exponentially bigger than one of those holes.
Oh, yeah. But, my 3-year-old brain's going, yeah, I can fit down that.
Yeah, it can work.
Yeah, spatial reasoning skills don't really work too well at that age.
well, okay. So, all right, here's the question. I didn't write this down, but it hit me. This is, I think, a good one. What is your greatest fear as of now?
Jeez. I do not like the dark, like a closet that's open or something like that. I don't like looking into a dark void. So I have to have doors closed and stuff like that in my room and stuff like that when I sleep, because I don't like that idea. I am exactly the same. I'm just like I'm a 39-year-old man, and I'm still like, nah. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna see eyes staring at me or something. I'm gonna be like, nope,
Mm-hmm. And
nope.
I can't do the dark at all. Like same thing with the doorway. I can't have that open,
Yeah.
especially.
Same with basements too. I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I have my Scooby Doo moments going down in the basements where I'm just like,
Zoinks.
yeah, like get me out of here.
I so it's I have two major fears, but one certainly doesn't help the other.
Yeah.
And like it's the dark, and it's at its worst when I am in total darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then on top of that, I hate being alone, like entirely isolated.
Yeah. Oh God, you would have hated this when year about back in 2012. I was up doing a show up in it was in Sonora, California, and I
Mm-hmm.
was up in Sugar Pine in the mountains near where Yosemite is, and I had a cabin that I was staying at, and for a while I was the only person in this cabin, and it was kind of isolated area. I mean, there was like no ambient light at all. So I woke up in the middle of the night in this cabin out in the woods, and it was so dark. It was like pitch black, no moonlight, nothing. There was no sounds, nothing from outside, nothing. It was just like I felt like I was like in a black hole. I couldn't even see like my hand in front of my face or anything like that. It was the most unnerving experience.
That's
It's like,
I
oh,
can't.
I was especially when you're out in the woods and you don't hear sounds. That's when you're supposed to get worried. if you
Yeah.
if you don't hear the insects and stuff like that, then something's wrong. And I did not hear anything outside, and I before that I had, and I'm like, uh and like the room I was in had windows all around it, like on two of the walls, so it's like all the way around. So I was so afraid that there was going to be like something just staring in, like Bigfoot or something like that, just staring in the window at me. I was just like,
Have you seen? So, well, for starters, like I the thing is like my fear of being alone kind of just extends to my house. Like if I'm home alone and I'm home alone all day, then I start to get paranoid.
yeah,
And
I can understand that.
like I'll do like a lap around my house where I'm like looking out the front window, like, is anybody home yet? Or is there just somebody standing in my yard waiting for me?
Just a guy in a mask and a machete just standing out there.
Staring in the window at another guy with a mask.
Yeah. That would be hilarious. Both of you just scare the crap out of each other. Like, ah!
One guy's here to do yard work and the other's just paranoid.
Yeah.
But like I've like it happened like the other day where I made the mistake of like slowly getting into that creepy part of YouTube,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm watching like videos where they're like
Uh,
it's like storytelling and all this, and and my computer faces away from my bedroom door,
yeah.
and so like I just like there's a moment where like the music's starting to ramp up, and and I'm like, I swear if I turn around and the door is open and there's nobody there, I'm going to panic. Like I know for a fact I closed that door.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that has actually happened in the apartment that I live in currently.
Hmm.
So it's just like we've got a ghost here. So it's just like we have doors that open and close sometimes, stuff like that. So it's like a few weeks ago, I was out doing my laundry, and my roommate was sitting in the kitchen eating lunch, and he saw me. He saw a version of me where I was wearing an orange shirt, like an orange flannel shirt, and he saw me just walk by him, go into the bathroom, turn on the light, and I never came out. And he was even like, he's been in there for a while. Dave, are you? And he comes back, he goes, looks, and I'm not in there. And he comes back sitting at the table, and as soon as he sits down at the table, I walk in the front door, and I'm wearing a totally different shirt. I don't even have an orange like plaid shirt or anything like that. So he's like, My roommate's he's a bouncer, so he's a big guy. He doesn't get scared easily, but he had this like look of like, what the fuck is going on his face. He's like, but you.
How?
Yeah, how? I'm like, what's going on, man? He's like, I just saw your doppelganger go in the bathroom.
Oh,
he explained it all. I'm like, dude, I totally believe you because I've never seen you this freaked out before. It's like, okay. Yeah.
There was a night here that we have a couple of cats around my house, and my roommate's cat stays like in the main like living room and all that in the house.
Yeah.
And there was a night where I was getting ready for bed. I was essentially asleep, and I hear glass break.
Oh no.
And I my first thought was, oh, somebody dropped a dish, and then the second thought hit me, I'm home alone. And like I'm completely alone. And in that moment I thought that I would just curl up in my bed and not move.
Yeah.
But apparently I just deploy like a firefighter.
Uh-huh.
I just stood up, threw my jacket on, I threw the door open, I'm like, alright, let's go! and I spin around the corner and like just ready to hit whatever's over there. And the cat, his cat's on like the fireplace mantle and knocked some sort of mason jar off of the thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I just lean around the corner, I'm like, come on! And just like, it's you.
It's you. It's you. It's like, God damn you, cat.
Thank goodness it's not an intruder, but I'm also very lightly disappointed that I wasn't right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I had a night, too, where, like, because my roommate has a cat, so I know exactly what you're talking about, and I was in my room, and I heard my door open, and, I was asleep, but the door opening sound woke me up, and I felt this on my bed, and I freaked the shit. Ah! There's a cat. I'm like, how did she open my door? I'm like, what the hell? Because like, what the?
It's like a velociraptor.
Yeah, it's just like one of those like fight or flight instincts that I was like, ah!
I gotta go.
It's like. I'm like, I'm sorry, kitty. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't hurt you.
It's okay.
Don't do that.
So, I know we certainly got off topic here, but what?
It happens.
Like I'm just envisioning like the car is already over the cliff, but I'm still trying to steer it back onto the road.
Yay!
Hold on, I can save it. But what would you say your favorite type of horror movie is?
Oh boy, I like a good slasher. I've always enjoyed slasher films because I like a good cat and mouse game, so that they're always fun for me. I also like more of the like just the kind of horror that just messes with your brain, like a lot of Hitchcock type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like that kind of stuff. When it's done well. Because a lot of people recently have been trying to do that kind of stuff, but it's not as they're trying to be so smart, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no. I don't want to name names because I've got so much hate for one of them. I had someone like unfriend me on Facebook because I did not like a certain movie, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, what? It's like I was just expressing my opinion. You're free to like it if you want. I just don't.
I had one of those arguments recently, but I didn't even go in depth as to why I didn't like a thing. I just went, I don't like it. And they're like, what does that mean?
Just didn't like it.
It's not my thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I know some people don't like Terrifiers. I'm like, yeah, that's your choice. It's different things freak out other different people. So it's just like, yeah.
Oh no, that's fine, you piece of shit.
But fuck you.
Well, speaking of Terrifier, I've seen the time lapse of the makeup How long in actual time, and how often did you have to apply that makeup?
We got it eventually down to about 3.5 hours, but I mean, it was usually around 4 hours, sometimes more, because like Damien would do my makeup and then he would have to go set up a shot or like go film a shot and come back and do more. So I mean, there were a few nights when I was in the chair for 8 hours.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, just sitting there waiting, twiddling my thumbs, stuff like that. Yeah, and I had to do it over 20 times too, so it's a process. It's definitely a process. I have all the respect in the world for like Doug Jones and Jim Carrey and Ron Perlman and all those guys that do that a lot for like their roles where they have to go through a lot of makeup.
What was the name of the Was it Stan Winston, the guy who did the makeup for Predator?
Yes.
That's a nightmare, man.
Yeah. That's a lot. That's hours of sitting in a chair, and that means that they got to get in that chair. Like I would have to show up hours before we started filming, so I would be on set longer than most people, and so I would get less sleep than most people too. Because it's like, yeah, I have to show up a few hours earlier, and then I have to film on top of that for another 12 hours. So it's just like, ooh. Yeah.
Well, by the looks of it, it's mostly just facial prosthetics, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But man, I'm glad it's just that. And boy, that would take a lot longer.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, especially like Doug Jones. I looked at like some of the stuff he's had to do. I'm like, jeez, like Abe Sapien or the Shape of Water and all that kind of stuff. It's just like he goes through the gauntlet for that stuff.
Well, especially I think Ron Perlman in Hellboy. If I remember, like the whole chest piece was a prosthetic as well.
Yeah. I know, like Jim Carrey for Grinch. I mean, I know that was torturous for him. He said the worst part for him was the contacts they had to put in his eye. Yeah, he said he would hit his leg constantly just to like take the pain away from his eyes to his leg. He would just try to like change where the pain was on him, just to keep his sanity. I
mean, he's dedicated. I'll give him that.
Yeah, but those were like those full like eyeball contacts. So it was like every little. I almost had to wear those one night on set because like there's a part in the film, if you're looking closely, you'll notice my eyes all of a sudden are green. It's because one night my contact had a rip in it, and the only replacement we had were these big, huge contacts that covered all of my eye, and they weren't soft lenses either. And I was just like, I can't wear these because I'm like, every time I would just barely move my eye, it would hurt. I was like, yeah, especially since I have to do so much with my eyes just for expression. I was like, there's no way I can wear these. I'm not. So we're like, okay, well, we'll just like because it was near the end of the film, we're like, okay, well, we'll just not wear contacts for all the scenes going forward from here. I'm like, okay.
Hey, that's fine.
Yeah, if anybody asks, we'll come up some reason for it.
So what would you say was your favorite part of Terrifier to film or to be in?
Oh, the pizzeria scene by far. That was such a fun scene to film because I just got to play around so much in that scene.
And that was a really good introduction to the character because this is like the first film that I've seen Art in. Like I haven't seen All Hallows Eve and in the Ninth Circle, and I call myself a film buff.
How dare you!
Charlatan!
Yeah, it'll be fun for you to go watch those now. So you'll see the evolution of Art.
Well,
especially with the makeup.
Oh yeah, from what I heard, he kind of starts off looking like a normal person. Then, as the character moves through the film, he gets more and more like he looks in Terrifier.
Yeah.
What? I was actually kind of curious about it because I read that little tidbit, and I was wondering why you guys didn't start off with Art looking more human.
I think that Damien just had it in his mind that this is what this is how the character is going to look, regardless. It's like back then when he was doing All Hallows Eve, that he was perfecting the look of the character at that time. So yeah.
Did he direct All Hallows Eve?
Yes.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, he wrote it, directed all that.
I gotta do some more reading and some more watching by the looks of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if at some point I can trick my wife into watching it.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's All Hallows Eve is an anthology film too, so he's not in the whole movie.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. He's in bits and pieces of it. It's just like it was the fans that they glommed onto him. He originally wasn't supposed to be the main character. It's like the fans liked him so much that they wanted him to have his own film series. So that's why Damien made Terrifier. He's like, okay, cool, let's do that.
Yeah. How many Terrifier films do you think there will be?
I know at least right now Damien's got 3 in mind in his head.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, hey, if he thinks of more stories, there's more to tell about art, he'll keep doing them.
Do you think there's going to be any backgrounds, origin?
Oh yeah, we're eventually going to get into more of that. Yeah, we don't want to give it all away at once. It's more fun to just let out little hints here and there come out and stuff like that, because I think that's part of what makes it fun for the audience too, is to come up with their own theories and treat that as one of the bigger mysteries of who he is or what he is and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Kind of like the Joker, we still don't know who the Joker actually is.
I think at least for me, the more accepted background was a nameless failed comedian.
Mm-hmm. From the Killing Joke explanation. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but even in that, he's like, sometimes I remember my past one way, sometimes I remember it another. If I kind of have a past, I might as well make it multiple choice. So it's just like,
fair enough, I guess.
So he's even like, yeah, this might be it, this might not be it. I don't know. I'm crazy.
Ooh, look, I'm crazy.
I have so many things going on up here. I don't know who I am.
So if you were offered the job to play the Joker in the Zack Snyder DC movies, would you have taken it?
Yeah, and I've done it better.
Hey, let's not write the word damaged on my forehead.
Yeah, exactly. Let's actually stay true to the character. Let's just I don't know why that's a hard thing to do. It's like, hey, let's do something different. Hey, let's actually just make people happy. Keep the fans happy and stay true to the character as he is, because he's got 75 plus years of history. Let's go stay with what works. Mm-hmm. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. And there are certain aspects that I like. I know that's a slippery slope to say, oh, I like certain aspects of Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Zack Snyder has a background in music videos, right?
Yeah.
And so his job, first and foremost, is to make things look pretty. And when he's working off of source material made by other people, like Watchmen or 300, he does that very well.
Yes.
He can almost create a panel, movement for movement.
Yes.
And that's fantastic. But when it comes to something that he says is original and from him, not only is it not original,
no.
He will put out, I feel like it's worse than it just being a bad movie, but he puts out really interesting ideas that go absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
The idea that in Justice League, when the Flash runs, he loses all friction with the ground, so he has to move like he's skating.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really cool, but then the problem arises, if the Flash can move that quickly, there's no fight anymore.
Yeah.
And then they seem to have realized that, and they're like, well, how do we depower the Flash? Well, let's not make him slower. Let's make him trip over his own feet. Exactly.
Don't get me started on that too, because I am. That's the one thing that drove me crazy watching that movie, was how the Flash ran with his arms just flailing about. I'm like, my God, that creates drag.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's the last thing the Flash would be doing while he's running.
Well, especially when he's rescuing hostages and they're just not a torso by the time he gets to the end of the run.
Exactly. It's like, my God, what is like? His just arms just flying. I'm so used to both, Grant's version and also John Wesley Shipp's version of the Flash, where it's like, yeah, that's the Flash to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's Barry Allen.
Where it's just footage of them actually running, but super sped up.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, I mean, also the lightning casting off behind him looks really cool too.
Yeah. It's like, if a TV show can do it right, why can't a film?
Well, that was my main complaint when the film was announced. I'm like, why don't you just call Grant Gustin?
Yeah, he's already a fantastic Barry Allen.
You could have just written it into the script, like, hey, I know a guy in Central City, and I called him.
Yep, I'm sure he would have been thrilled to do it, too.
Oh, yeah. But then they had to CGI out Superman's mustache.
Jesus. That's still amazing to me. I'm like, wow.
Well, when there were some, damage control articles that came out where it's like, oh... not very many people noticed it at all. I noticed
everybody. Everybody.
I was in the theater when it came out because I knew it was going to be in a train wreck, but an interesting train wreck.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, the first shot where the kid's filming him, and you see his face. I'm like, what's wrong with his head? What's going on?
Yeah, it's like, what's this? His lip looks weird.
Why does his lip look twice as big as it should?
Yeah. Oh. He got stung by a bee. That's what it is. He got a bad Botox injection or something. I don't know. Lip injectors or whatever. It's just like.
Are you telling me Superman needs a shape up?
Yeah. Oh God, no.
So what makes a good Joker to you?
A good Joker is someone that can really walk that fine line between scary and funny. That actually just has fun with the role too, because it's like that's how the Joker is. He's having a blast doing all this. I put a lot of Joker into my version of art too, because I think they're a lot alike in that way, where they love what they do and they have fun doing it.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the more terrifying qualities of a version of the Joker is there's a sort of attractiveness to it. Yeah. He'll sit down and talk with you, but he'll pull you in and then stab you.
Yeah, he's so charismatic, but he's also so egotistical too, and it's this great combination of he's such a great character, and that's why it drives me crazy when I see him done wrong in film. I'm like, no, that's not it. Mm-hmm. It's like he only cares about himself and Batman. He doesn't care about Harley at all. That's like the one thing that really drove me crazy about not Justice League, but Suicide Squad. Was it that scene where he's basically in tears because Harley's not with him, and he's just, I'm like, no, he would never be that way. The only time he would ever be a little bit upset about Harley not being with him is if he needed her for his plan.
Or if, in the comics, she just left him.
Yeah. But he didn't care about her. He even, at one point even tell her that, you were only a tool for me. It's like, you're nothing. You're just an ends to a means.
There was I was discussing this the other day with, I believe, Maskey, that there's a huge there's two there. I'm trying to find the right words. There's a thing that Jared Leto's Joker does in Suicide Squad that completely ruins the Joker character. Mm-hmm. Where he flat out says, "I'm an idea," but it doesn't fit. That doesn't work. But then there's a character, I believe, still in the DC universe, that had a movie made about him that he almost does that exact same sort of monologue, but he does it better because he's actually explaining how that function works.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the two sides of the spectrum, Jared Leto's Joker being the absolute worst, and then the best part being V from V for Vendetta.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Where he's not saying that he's an idea, but what he's representative of an idea.
Yeah. Yeah, Joker's not about being an idea or anything like that. He's all about chaos. He's an agent of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
He's the opposite of Batman. Batman's supposed to be an agent of order. Joker's supposed to be an agent of chaos. They're yin to yang.
Mm-hmm. And I love the extremes that you'll see it taken to sometimes. Like, I believe it was part of the Justice League cartoon, but there was some weird alternate dimension where Batman kind of had his way in terms of wanting order to the point where he became a dictator.
Yeah.
Where he's like silencing people by pulling them into vans.
Yeah.
And like I love seeing that, like those ideas taken to their most extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran this idea by masking that the best version of a Joker movie would be a plot set forth by the Joker that has clues that Batman needs to follow, and like it leads to like the destruction of Gotham. And I don't mean like social disorder, I mean like bomb.
Yeah.
But then, you know, Batman's finally like, oh, I'm gonna kill the Joker, and then he finds the Joker, and the Joker's been dead the whole time.
Like some final joke of his where he gets Batman to destroy Gotham himself in his hunt for him.
Mm.
He ends up wreaking havoc and basically pulls off the Joker's agenda for him. Because Joker's end game is to break Batman, to prove to Batman that anybody can snap, that he's not better than him, and is just he wants to break, like he wants Batman to break his one cardinal rule of not killing. He wants, like, Joker's even trying to goad him into killing him because he knows if Batman kills him, Joker wins.
And that's like that might be one of the better simple setups for like a villain hero matchup. Is like, oh, that's your one rule, is you can't kill anybody. Guess who I'm gonna make you kill? Me.
Or like what he does in like The Killing Joke, where, you know, he's trying to break Gordon by doing all these horrible things to Barbara, like, you know, shooting her in the spine and taking all those photos of her naked, insinuating that he might have raped her. And because his whole point there was to try to prove to everybody that anybody can go insane if they have one bad day. Anybody can snap. No one's better than he is. Anybody can become what he is if they have that one bad day.
And
it's just great. I love that. That's what I love about The Killing Joke. Is I love that idea there. It's like, yeah, anybody can be this, and I'm gonna prove it to you.
So I've had this theory for a while that the worst version of Batman is Bruce Wayne. Like he like it, and it's not so much like, oh, it's because everybody likes him. It's this weird, like, I have to do the right thing no matter the cost. But like any sort of justice system, like in even the most lenient of states, would have probably put Joker to death.
Oh yeah, definitely so.
Yeah, but the fact that it's like, nope, I'm gonna take him back to Arkham.
Yeah, he's not a criminal. He's just insane.
And like, you know,
we're gonna try to rehabilitate him.
But then, like, you see the inside of Arkham Asylum, and the rehabilitation's like, all right, don't be crazy for like 10 minutes.
Yep, and then they broke out again.
Oh, there's just a hole in the wall where he used to be.
Like, how did this happen?
There's a
Oopsie.
There's a playing card here. What happened? But like the Flashpoint Batman, where it's Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, with Martha. I love that. That's such a great idea. I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah, where that Joker is like a background element, but then in the search for that version of the Joker, like Thomas Wayne's just murdering supervillains left and right.
Yeah.
Like that's
just bam, bam, bam.
That's so much more interesting instead of like I have shark repellent.
Yep. By the way, have you watched the Titans series yet?
I have not. I'm slightly afraid to.
It's actually, they do some interesting, like the finale for the season was really good, where they explored that whole part of like if Batman just broke and just went nuts. And it was really cool. It was like, oh my god.
Well, like with what was the storyline? Justice League Doom, where he has a contingency for everybody in the league, including himself.
Yep, exactly.
And like, I thought it was just gonna be like, it's just kryptonite or something like that. But no, it's like make Wonder Woman fight until her heart gives out.
Mm-hmm.
Or make John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, sweat because he technically sweats like phosphorus.
Yeah.
And then light him on fire so he just burns forever because he's afraid of fire.
Yeah.
That's amazing, but then it ends up none of it works.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a great concept. It's just like, oh, that's what I liked about that the finale for Titans. I was like, oh wow, now I get to see this version of Batman, and he's fucking scary.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like, damn.
So do you like Green Lantern at all?
I'm okay with it. I never really read Green Lantern as much.
I'm under I'm in the house of Hal Jordan, the quote unquote main Green Lantern, is the worst Green Lantern ever.
Yeah, he's kind of like just the cookie cutter, boring one.
Well, like in Justice League Doom, all it takes to break his willpower is to lure him into a cave and then show him a holographic projection of somebody he failed to save.
Yeah.
And like the minute she's like, "Oh, you couldn't save me," he's like, "Oh God, you're right. I don't deserve to be Green Lantern.
I have no will to live."
And he just spends the whole movie like crying in a cave until somebody walks in. And they're like, "It's not your fault, right?"
Okay.
Okay. I guess I'll help. So I've got I believe 2 wrap-up questions, unless you want to keep this going.
Oh, that's fine. Go ahead and do these questions.
Yeah. First of all, do you plan on doing any conventions here on the West Coast?
Yes. I'm going to. I know right off the top of my head. I know I'm going to be at. God, I can't remember the name of the convention, but there's one in Sacramento I'm going to be at, and I'm also going to be at Crypticon in Seattle.
Okay, Crypticon.
Yeah.
When's Crypticon?
Oh, I think April. I'm doing a lot of conventions this year. So I can't keep them straight in my head anymore. I'm just like,
It's written down somewhere, I hope.
Yeah, my manager has them all written down.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Have somebody else write it for you.
Yeah. That's why he gets his 10%.
You know what? Fair.
He gets me the jobs and keeps all that stuff straight. That's why he gets his 10%. He does a good job with that. He actually represents John Wesley Shipp too, so it's kind of cool.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually, I got it through John. John and I worked on a voiceover project back in early 2017 together, and so we kind of became friends through that.
What did it happen to be? Invisibles?
No, it was Powder Burns. It's a radio drama.
Oh.
It's a Wild West radio drama where he plays a blind sheriff of this town and all the stuff that happens. And I was the villain of the week in one of the episodes. I was this like racist slave owner coming after my runaway slave. So it was fun. It was fun. I got to play the villain off the Flash.
That might be one of the greater like Western setups. It's like, where's my slave?
Yep. Oh, it was great. I had such a fun. I'm from the South anyway, so it wasn't a stretch for me. I was able to slip back in my old accent and everything. So I was like, oh, this is easy, easy. Let's do this.
Where in the South are you from?
I'm originally from Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah, I could put on the accent if I have to.
Like the visual of Art the Clown having a Southern accent, just like
yeah. Hey y'all, you better run.
Howdy.
Howdy. Bless your heart.
I was gonna say, if you said like South Carolina, I'm like, that would have been great because my wife is originally from South Carolina. I'm like, oh
yeah. Well, Huntsville's pretty close to South Carolina. Yeah. Huntsville's right at the Tennessee border.
Mm.
So, not too far from South Carolina. About an hour or so.
Let's see here. Let me go ahead and pull my headphone out. Let me go ahead and wrap this up real quick.
All right.
One last question for you. Would you consider coming back as a return guest on Demasked?
Oh, sure, of course.
All right.
Be happy to.
I'll have to either, message you through Skype here or send you something on Twitter.
Yeah, sure. I'll be around.
Hopefully I don't catch you at a convention,
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
But hey, man, it was very nice talking to you.
Great talking to you too, man. I hope to actually get to one of these conventions up in Portland because I'd love to have a reason to come back. Stuff. Oh, I have a reason. I have my cousin there. I need to go there.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm not sure if I could be the one reason that you come back to Portland, Oregon.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really get to explore the city as much when I was there because it was all wedding stuff, and I had to fly back to New York for the job I was working at the time. So I was like, man.
Mm. Have you been to Voodoo Donuts?
Voodoo Donuts? No, I have not yet. I hear it's wonderful though.
Oh, it's really good. They've got All right, I know most people do, but do you like bacon?
Of course I do.
All right, well, they have a bacon maple bar.
Woohoo!
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
It's delicious, but then you'll feel it for the rest of the day.
Oh, I'm sure. But it's worth it. Totally worth it. I love bacon.
Well, thank you for coming on to Demasked. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I think that about does it.
All right, cool. Well, you take care. Have a great night, all right?
Yeah, you too. Have a good one.
All right, we'll talk soon.
We'll talk soon.
All right, bye.